Welcome into the live Sunday Locked On Fantasy Football Show. I am your host, Michelle Majuk, and I'm joined with the amazing Michael Fabiano. Today, we'll be going through all the inactives for Week 10, letting you know which replacements you can trust and who you can't. And then we'll answer all of your start-sit questions to get your Week 10 lineup set to get you that win this week. So send in those questions now because we're going to get into the inactives first, but we'll make sure to answer all of your start-sit questions that you send in on YouTube or those of you who have already sent them in on Twitter. Let's start with these inactives. The guys we know for sure are out this week. It starts with Jaden Daniels. We know he's going to miss 3 to 6 weeks with that elbow injury. So Marcus Mariota, is that a possible start this week for you in one quarterback leagues?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you've got a quarterback who's on a bye or, Brock Purdy's been your quarterback and you've had to shuffle through the quarterback position, the matchup's not bad on paper. Mariota could run with the football a bit. And also, I mean, when you look back at the games that he started when Daniels was out earlier, it wasn't bad. So is he like my first choice? Obviously not. But I think you could do worse. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I would have to be pretty desperate to play him. I think it would have to go pretty far. Like Justin Fields has been named the starter, or he's expected to start today against the Browns. I actually would rather go with Justin Fields and Marcus Mariota this week.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you there too. Although Fields, I mean, you never know. It's it's like the Forrest Gump. You never know what you're going to get, right? With Justin Fields, and the matchup's not great against Cleveland either. But I understand that we are starting to see some of the inactives come in here. But again, Michelle, we do know there are certain players who are out this week, and there's a lot of wide receivers who are going to be out too.
So many wide receivers. You got Brian Thomas Jr. out with Travis Hunter, who's already been on IR for the Jaguars, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, Kayshon Boutte, Ricky Pearsall still out, and Torrey Horton is out too. Cooper Kupp for the Seahawks, they're the latest we know is that he has a chance to play, but you're not going to feel good enough to play him either. So let's go through some of these guys that you can play in replacement of these guys who are out. So with the Jaguars, are you starting Parker Washington? Are you starting Jacoby Myers, who they just traded for?
See, Jacoby Myers is tough. I think you can play him in a pinch if needed, but the matchup's awful. I mean, Houston is where fantasy points go to die, let's be honest. And I don't know how much of a grasp he has of the offense. So if I'm starting a Jaguars wide receiver, it would definitely be Parker Washington. Among some of the other wide receiver replacements, I like Tez Johnson in Tampa. I think that could be a high scoring game against New England. And, Emeka Egbuka is obviously the number one guy there, but Tez Johnson, I think, is the number two. I like Cade Otton. We're talking about tight ends there, of course, but I like him as well. To be quite honest with you, I had Alec Pierce as a potential start this week, and he's having a very good game. Which, by the way, if Atlanta beats Indianapolis, I just give up on trying to predict what the hell's going on in the NFL because it's just crazy. So, there's some other wide receivers out there too that you can use in a pinch that aren't like, must start guys. Washington's definitely at the top of the list. Tez Johnson, if you need to start a Juwan Jennings this week, I can understand that. Guys like Malik Washington, if you're in a pinch against Buffalo, I could see starting him. There's not a lot of guys that I'm like, oh yeah, that guy, it would definitely be Parker Washington would be my first, that would be my priority at the position in terms of wide receivers who I want to replace starters with. And then Tez Johnson would be second.
Yeah, I think Parker Washington, even though it's a tough matchup against the Texans, he's going to be playing a lot of the slot, you would assume. He has 19 targets over the last 2 weeks. So he's been heavily utilized even with Brian Thomas there. So with him gone, I do think Parker Washington's a start. I'd say Cade Otton is the next guy that benefits from this group of guys missing with Chris Godwin still out, Mike Evans obviously out for the rest of the season. Egbuka is I expect him to have a good game against the Patriots, but the Patriots do struggle a bit against tight ends. So I expect Cade Otton to step up there. And then with Boutte out for the Patriots, I loved Stephon Diggs already this week against the Buccaneers, but what about Demario Douglas?
I'm starting him in one of my leagues. I do fear that I'm chasing the points, but Boutte's out, as you mentioned. And so again, it's one of those situations where I think you could do worse, but I do worry about the fact that maybe we're chasing the points after that big game that he had last week. Just to give you guys a couple of inactives here as they are quickly coming through. Aaron Jones is a go. CJ Stroud is inactive. It will be Davis Mills. Harold Fannin is active for Cleveland, which is, a good thing. Unless you have David Njoku, I guess. Ramondre Stevenson and Booty are both out for the Patriots. And I got to be honest with you. I don't love Trevion Henderson because I feel like Trevion Henderson has fooled us for, 9 weeks. And I don't know if he's going to do it. And you look at the matchup and you're like, oh, Tampa Bay, they're bad against running backs. Look at the running backs they've faced. They have faced McCaffrey. They have faced Bijan. They have faced Saquon. They have faced Gibbs. So, they faced a lot of really good running backs this season. Some more inactives. Alan Lazard and A.D. Mitchell for the Jets, both inactive, but Garrett Wilson to go. Thank you. It's about time. I need him. Cedric Tillman is active for the Browns, and he might be a player you pick up off the waiver wire. Isaiah Bond is going to be out in that game for the Cleveland Browns. And I'm scrolling through some other teams here to see who is out and who is in, because this is live right now. And as we get more, Alvin Kamara is active, although even when he's active, he's kind of inactive in fantasy. DeAndre Swift is active, which means to me, he's the better of the two backs to start this week. Although I would start Kyle Monangai in a pinch because the matchup is pretty favorable against the G-men. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. With DeAndre Swift playing, there was, reports that Kyle Monangai will still have a big role. So are you comfortable playing either one if you roster them? Where's that line for you with Kyle Monangai? You just brought up Alvin Kamara. I would much rather play Monangai than Kamara this week. I don't even care what the workload looks like for Monangai. You just know with Kamara, you're not going to get anything.
Kamara's the name. That's all he is. I mean, listen, that guy helped me win a lot of championships over the years. Remember that Christmas Day game against Minnesota where they have 5 touchdowns? It was crazy, but that was a long time ago. He's not that dude anymore. And Devin Neal's a guy I'd like to pick up off the waiver wire just in case for the stretch run. I would be benching Kamara at all costs outside of something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many guys I'd rather play over Kamara, even like a Zach Charbonnet. I'm playing him against the Cardinals, at least for the touchdown upside. Yeah, it goes pretty deep there. Now, when we're going back to Monangai, let me give you some names here. Would you rather go Trevion Henderson with Ramondre Stevenson out or Monangai?
Henderson. And I would be crossing my fingers also.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible matchup for Henderson against the Buccaneers. They are allowing a lot of fantasy points because the receiving work, right? And hopefully,
four elite running backs.
Yeah.
4 elite running backs. So that's why I feel like, you look at the stats sometimes and you got to dig a little bit deeper and you be like, oh, Tampa Bay gives up a lot of points to running backs. Look who they faced. You know what I mean? That's like a team that's given up a lot of fantasy points to quarterbacks, but they've played Jalen Hurts and they've played Patrick Mahomes and they've played Josh Allen and they played Lamar Jackson. Well, of course they're going to give up a lot of points. So I guess we're going to find out, if that's going to bear fruit in this situation. But remember, last week, Henderson saw the majority of the snaps and got a lot of the touches, but they used Terrell Jennings, who I have to start in one of my leagues this week. And trust me, I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is.
Oof, that is brutal. For those of you who are just joining us, we are going through all the inactives and then we'll get to all of your start-sit questions. So continue to send those in and we will get to those.
Michelle, one other thing too, Brian Thomas Jr. is inactive as we expected. So Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr. out. We know Hunter's going to be out for at least 3 more games, including today. And so Parker Washington, again, somebody that matchup's not great, but sometimes volume will unseat matchup in terms of what's the most important thing in fantasy. So Parker Washington used to get a lot of targets in this game.
Yeah, he really should. And I don't expect it to be efficient, right, against this Texans defense. But if you're in a pickle and you're in a PPR league, he is a viable play. Let's talk about the Seahawks wide receiver group, because with Torrey Horton out now, it's not like you were really relying on him where he's killing you if he's out, but he was getting some touchdowns. He was involved. They traded for Rashid Shaheed this week. Mm-hmm. Do you feel comfortable starting him the first week he's there? Because Cooper Kupp is banged up. He does have a chance to play, but it looks like it'll be JSN, and then Rashid Shaheed should get quite a bit of playing time.
The thing is that, remember, Shaheed knows the offense because he played with Clint Kubiak in New Orleans. So, the only real hurdle he's got is what kind of rapport he's going to have put together with Sam Darnold in, a 4 or 5 day period. So, and he is one big play from giving you 12 points. And that's kind of Shaheed. And that's why I like that match with Seattle, because he knows the offense. And Sam Darnold, and God bless him, I was wrong about him this year. He's playing really, really well. So it's hard to say for sure because that's a West Coast game and it's in the 4 p.m. window. But no Horton. If Kupp is out, I'm definitely playing Shaheed if I need a wide receiver. And if I need to make a decision between him and a 1 o'clock player, it really depends on what the matchup is for that 1 o'clock player. But I would not hesitate to play Rashid Shaheed if I needed help at wide receiver.
I do think it was a great trade for the Seahawks. I think he'll do really well there. I don't feel completely comfortable plugging him in week 1, but if you have to, then like I would rather go with Shaheed than would you rather go with Demario Douglas or Rashid Shaheed?
Probably Shaheed.
Yeah, it's close. It's close there, but I slightly lead Shaheed because you need so much less from him.
I would go like Pez Johnson, Parker Washington over Shaheed all day long and twice on Sunday, which is today.
Some wide receivers who are expected to play today: Puka Nacua. You said Garrett Wilson will play. Teteroa McMillan is expected to play. AJ Brown got cleared with Saquon Barkley. Cedric Tillman is expected to play for the Browns. So they got a lot of these players banged up. Yeah, go ahead.
Tet is active, so he's officially active.
Okay.
So you're good to go there with Tet. The matchup is good. I mean, New Orleans is kind of a dumpster fire right now, so the matchup's really good. We'll see if he can. I think the one concern people have is is he actually healthy enough to get through a full 4 quarters? But he's active, and so if I have him, I'm going to play him.
Yeah, for any of these guys, you're a little bit worried that they could get re-injured early in the game, but anyone you play could get injured, right? So I wouldn't be too scared. You're playing all these guys that I just named outside of Cedric Tillman, but I mean, Cedric Tillman does become an option too. So let's add him to the group of the Parker Washingtons and Demario Douglas and Rashid Shaheed. Where does he fit in there?
Yeah, see, I'd probably rather play those players over Tillman first game back. It's just a quarterback situation. And the good thing is that who do they play today? The Jets. I feel like the Jets may be in tank mode already. And, we're only in week 10. How do you feel in the locker room if you just trade away your 2 best defensive players? Right? I mean, Quentin Williams, who went to my Cowboys, which I still don't know if I love that trade or not based on the draft picks given up. But, Sauce is not there anymore. But with the Browns, I mean, Dylan Gabriel's no great shakes. So if I'm starting a Browns wide receiver and I don't want to, it would probably be Jerry Jeudy, but I don't love it. But Tillman could certainly be someone we're picking up off the waiver wire ahead of week 11.
Yeah, I think you stick with the tight ends there. The Harold Fannin Jr., if he can continue to get on the field, you're a little bit worried about the injury and see those targets. But him and David Njoku are possible options. And then I love Quinshon Judkins this week for
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love him. I've even got a song for him. Quinshon Super Judkins. And you know what? Marcus Musher hates when I say, well, maybe he doesn't hate it, but I have loved him on the field ever since he showed up. And he was a member of the Cleveland Browns. I have him in so many leagues, and people were like, why are you drafting him? Because he's not even going to play football this season. You guys are all nuts. Of course he's going to play football this season. And he's been great. And in fact, if I had one running back I wanted to trade for now to the end of the season, it's Quinshon Judkins outside of the elite guys that are going to cost you an arm and a leg.
Yeah, the volume he gets is fantastic, and he looks like an awesome, awesome player out there. All right, we're going to get into everyone's start, sit questions, so keep sending those in. We're going to take a quick break and get into all of those to help you set your lineups.
Today's show is brought to you by our friends over there at Peloton. Look, folks, it's time to break through the busiest time of the year with a brand new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus that's powered by Peloton IQ. It's Peloton's most elevated technology and equipment yet that gives you real-time guidance, and it gives you endless ways to move, whether you want to work out by yourself or if you want to work out with your favorite instructor, like my personal favorite, Alex Toussaint. He always gets me fired up to tackle the day. And the thing I like about Peloton, it helps me achieve more in less times. They have features that help you plan, stay motivated, track your progress, and Peloton IQ also provides personalized workout plans and recommendations. That's something that I use right now during the busiest time of the year covering the NFL. They plan my workouts for me based on my mood, my vibe, and also my favorite instructors. So make sure you check it out and use it because it also helps you correct your form in real time, and it maximizes your reps. It counts your reps so that you can do it smarter, safer, and more efficient. Let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's sad. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is a unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. By uniting your employees, teams, and departments in one system, Rippling removes the bottlenecks, busy work, and silos your software created. Whether you want to run your entire HR, IT, and finance operations as one, or just fill the gaps in your software stack, Rippling can do it all. And right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. Learn more at rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNFL for 6 months for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, let's get into these start sit questions. Continue to send them in and we will get to them all. So starting here right at the top, we got it from our good friend Rachel.
Rachel.
Hello, Rachel. Marcus Mariota or Bryce Young? Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to go Marcus Mariota here.
I think I'm going Bryce Young. And I know it's not pretty.
I mean, he's got a good matchup.
It's a close one. I do think Mariota is safer to not absolutely bomb in your lineup, but Bryce Young I do think has more upside against the Saints. So it's a tough call. Rachel, you're going to have to pick between your two besties. I'm sorry about that. Moving on, we got another question here. DeAndre Swift, Hetero McMillan, Kenneth Walker, or Travion Henderson. He needs to start 2 of the 3.
Yeah. So, well, we actually have 4 players there. So 2 of the 3, I'm not sure there's 4. I'm going to give you the order in which I would start them. Tet, Swift, Henderson, Walker would be the odd man out if you needed 3. If you need 2, I'm going Swift and McMillan. And listen, maybe Travion Henderson is like a blind spot for me. I ain't done anything. And so even last week, he was okay. He wasn't great, and I just don't think Tampa Bay's defense is as bad as the stats because of who they've played against. So listen, I mean, a lot of people are going to start Henderson. I totally get it. Terrell Jennings scores a touchdown today. Don't throw anything at your TV.
It's just ridiculous how often Jennings is on the field, but I do think Henderson should get a lot of targets today. But I'm still, if you're got to go 2 out of these 4, I'm going Swift and Teteroa with you. And I agree. If you're starting, you have to start 3 of these guys, and Henderson would be the next guy. Walker would be my last choice as well. We have a question from Heidi: Ja'Cory, Krosky, Merritt, or Alvin Kamara. I hate both of these plays. I
know. And excuse me as I look to because I'm looking at my rankings right now, because
I have them ranked back to back, but so low.
I don't like either one. I mean, I guess I would go Kamara, but if you're a religious person, you may want to say a few Hail Marys, a few Our Fathers, because Kamara's been bad and Bill's been just as bad.
I'm trying to think of like anyone else that could be out there that you could pick up and play besides those guys.
Like Woody Marks. I don't know. I mean, like, there's not going to be a lot of options out there.
Yeah.
Not a running back.
I think I don't think either one's going to score very many points. I probably lean Ja'Cory, Krosky, Merritt just because he has
maybe Amari DeMercado. Like, if you want to get nuts, but that Cardinals backfield, every week they screw us. Like, every week it's like Michael Carter is the guy. No, it's okay. Wait a minute, I thought it was DeMercado, and then the following week it's Carter. Right now it's Bam Knight's the guy. All right, then last week we're like Bam Knight's the guy, and then it was DeMercado was the guy. So I have no idea. I think the Cardinals hate our fantasy team. So that's a tough one too.
I would go Amari DeMercado if he's an option out there over these 2 guys. But Krosky Merritt, I think, has a slightly better chance to get into the end zone than Kamara, he's just never going to get into the end zone, it seems like. So I would go that route, but I don't expect much from either guy. We have a quarterback question here. Fields or McCarthy? So you got Justin Fields against the Browns or JJ McCarthy against the Ravens. I'm going Fields.
I don't trust JJ McCarthy, and I know the matchup's good on paper. Again, another guy I have a blind spot with. Do you know he's had 3 starts, and the most completions he's had in those 3 starts, you know what the highest total is? 14.
Yeah, he hasn't hit 160 passing yards in a game.
So like, I'm gonna go Fields. I hate it though. I don't love either one, honestly. But I'll agree with you.
I actually do really like Fields. The Browns on the road are giving up the most points per game to opponents, and they've allowed pretty much every quarterback they faced on the road, besides Jared Goff, to have a really good fantasy game. So the Browns have always struggled. The last 3 years, their defense have been good at home,
At home,
been one of the
weird
worst
trend.
on the road. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I do think you can play Fields now. He's either going to get you 25 points or 4. Those are your two options. So hope for the good game. Now we got a flex question here in PPR league: Travion Henderson or Jordan Addison?
It's Henderson for me all day long. It's the fear of JJ McCarthy and his lack of completions. I don't love Addison, and if I could bench him, I would. And here you can. So it's Henderson for me.
I'm going Henderson as well. That was an easy one for us. Now DeAndre Swift or Montgomery, full PPR running back 2. They both have really nice matchups. Montgomery gets the Commanders. Swift gets the Giants. You expect both to share their backfield this week. Ooh, I lean Swift.
Yeah, I'm going to lean Swift too. Now, keep in mind that Ben Johnson earlier in this week said basically like the running back who's going to get the most touches is the guy who's the hottest player on a week-to-week basis. That will make your head explode if you're a fantasy manager, but the matchup's very good against the G-men. I am going to go Swift here, but I like David Montgomery as well as like a RB2 flex type with 4 teams off. Also, I haven't seen the weather in Chicago right now, but they are talking about the weather maybe being an issue. And if the weather is an issue, then that's obviously going to benefit the ground game.
Yeah, it should. And I mean, the Giants you can run on pretty easily. So they should have another good run game. Ben Johnson has really wanted to lean on that run game for the Bears, and it's been working for them. So you would expect them to continue that. We have another quarterback question here: Baker Mayfield or JJ McCarthy, full PPR, 4 point per passing touchdown.
Yeah, this one's easy. It's Baker.
It's Baker.
I think that's going to be a fun game to watch. Buccaneers, Patriots. The only thing that would make it better is if they were both wearing the throwback uniforms. You know, that would just make it glorious. You know how I love my uniform matchups. But I'm going to go Baker here.
Yeah, I'm going Baker pretty easily. Now, it's been a couple bad games for him in a row. So hopefully that bye week, hopefully Ibuka, is at full health with the hamstring.
Yeah.
And they can start connecting again because it's been ugly there for those two.
Yeah.
We have a question from Mel. I have Swift and Monagai. Should I start both or her other options or flex, Kamara, Ja'Cory, or Jordan Mason? I'm starting both Swift and Monagai in this situation.
I think I am too. The only move that maybe it would be Mason over Monin guy. But Aaron Jones is good to go. And since Aaron Jones has come back, Mason's role has been, small. It hasn't been that of a startable fantasy player. So I know I hate typically to start 2 backs from the same backfield, but I think I would in this case.
And I think a lot of this with these questions for the Vikings is that on paper, right, when you're looking at what the Ravens give up this year in fantasy points, it looks like, oh, they're such a good defense to target for your fantasy guys. But the last few weeks, their defense has completely turned around, and they've been better. Yeah, they've been so much better. So I wouldn't expect them just to be giving up points left and right to McCarthy or this backfield either. So I don't want to start Aaron Jones or Mason, but if I had to start one, it would be Aaron Jones. And then out of this group for sure, I think I'm just going with both the Bears guys, and then you're all covered and hopefully they just run a ton. All right. We have some questions over on Twitter that I'll pull up here. We got a lot of Kyle Monagai questions this week. So Kyle Monagai or Jameson Williams PPR.
I like JMO this week. I got to be honest with you. I think he's going to have a good game. The Commanders have been bad against perimeter receivers. I think Detroit's going to score a lot of points. The total in that game was pretty high. I mean, I don't know exactly what it was. The last time I saw it, I think it was 48 or 1/2 or 49, something like that. It was pretty high. So I'm probably going to go with JMO in this case because Monin guy might get the majority of the carries. He may get a minority of the carries, and it could be a 50-50. And there's too much sort of guessing there. I'd rather go with Jameson Williams.
I'm with you. I'm going with Jameson Williams among those two. We have a question for a flex spot: David Montgomery, Tyrone Tracy, Stephon Diggs, or Tez Johnson. You got to pick 1.5 PPR.
I'm going to go Diggs. I'm going to go Diggs in this case. Diggs over Montgomery.
It's so close between Diggs and Montgomery for me. Diggs is my sleeper of the week at wide receiver position. I do really, really like him this week. With the matchup against the Commanders and expecting the Lions to have a decent lead in this game, I'm going to stick with Montgomery here. But I do really like Stephon Diggs. So if
All
that's
right.
your choice,
We're split there.
We are split there. Choose one between Devin Singletary, Amari DiMercato, Bam Knight, or either Washington running back.
This is what people are going through.
I know.
They are going through hell right now. Trust me. I've got a league where I have Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, Rashee Rice, and thank goodness that Garrett Wilson is playing. But I'm playing like Parker Washington, and I'm actually playing Amari DiMercato. Now, to me, it would be one of the two Cardinals running backs. And I know that last week DiMercato got more touches, but the Cardinals running back situation is fluid every single week. So here I'd probably go with Bam Knight, but I got to be honest with you, it would be a dart throw.
I'm going with DiMercato because I do think like for a while here, he's put in that like timeout, right? Because of what he did trying to celebrate before. Yeah, he was put on timeout for a couple weeks. They let him out last week. I do think he's the guy they want to lean on. It seemed pretty clear. I had Bam Knight and I needed just 12 points from him on Monday Night Football, and I could not get it. So I was very frustrated. I'm going DiMercato. We have a question here for full PPR league. 2 questions. We got Colston Loveland or Dalton Schultz. I actually really like both this week.
So Kmet is back, but he was also back last week. And then, Kmet had a good game. Cole Kmet ended up leaving the game. So I like Schultz in this matchup too. Against Jacksonville, they've been giving it up to tight ends. I would probably lean towards Schultz, but I know you're going to say Loveland here. So I will say for the sake of Dylan's, he's, we don't want him to go crazy. For the sake of his sanity, I'll go with Loveland here. And the RB1 flex question is it, do we have to go with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt here? I got to be honest with you, Dylan. It's gross. So I like Schultz more than I like Mason Taylor at tight end, but I don't know that I want to start either one of those guys over running back.
I'm definitely starting Schultz.
So Schultz, I guess it's Schultz and JCM and cross your fingers.
Yeah, I would go Schultz and JCM there. And then on the first question, since you're starting Schultz in the other league, I would just go with Loveland because I think they're close enough.
There you go.
Loveland does have a higher ceiling, at least with
a little bit of one, a little bit of the other.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even want to answer this question because it's my wife and she's playing against me. So I don't want to help her. But Sam Darnold or
what happens if I get in trouble because I helped her beat you?
Well, can you just tell her Brissett, please? Sam Darnold.
I think that answers your question in terms of who to start. Right? If she's your opponent and you're being told by Michelle to go with Brissett, you probably should go with Darnold.
Yeah, it's clearly Sam Darnold here. He's been on fire. I mean, 3 of the last 4 weeks, he has 20 or more fantasy points. He much prefer his matchup. I mean, they're playing in the same game, but I prefer his matchup, Darnold's matchup against the Cardinals and the Brissett's against the Seahawks. And we'll get to one more here before we take a quick break, but keep sending them in. We will be answering all of your questions. Flex play Walker, McMillan, or Aaron Jones. This is pretty easily Aaron Jones for me.
Wow, really? So
I meant McMillan. I don't know why I said.
Yeah,
I don't know why I just said Aaron Jones. It's very easily.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, McMillan for me.
Definitely McMillan out of that group. I don't know what I was just saying. All right, let's take a quick break. We're gonna hear from another of our sponsor, and then we'll get to the rest of your questions. So keep sending them in. We are halfway through the NFL season, and FanDuel has an offer you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet and put down $5. And if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You have to just love how FanDuel offers you numerous ways to play. You can build parlays, try player props, and even put in wagers for the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, we're going to continue answering all of your start-sit questions to get you ready for Week 10. We have another JJ McCarthy question. JJ McCarthy or Marcus Mariota? I think here I actually will go with McCarthy because he seems to be scoring touchdowns at an insane rate.
I know. I just don't trust him. You could go with McCarthy. It's fine. I just don't trust him. That's just me. I have a heart like any JJ McCarthy questions. I should probably just say, Michelle, you take it because I'm almost always going to go against him.
I know, but Marcus Mariota, it's not like you could trust him.
He's got a way better matchup, though. I mean, against Detroit. Detroit's defense is not good against quarterbacks and receivers. And they also, if the game script is what I think it would be, and who knows, because the NFL's drunk every week, if the Commanders are getting their butts handed to them, Mariota's going to have to throw the ball and make plays in the second half. So
I wanted to ask you earlier, and I forgot. What about Deebo Samuel then? Because it's been a long time.
I know. I get it. So Deebo is one of those guys that I will start begrudgingly. I have him as a sit over at Sports Illustrated this week, but I think people have to know that, you can't take that advice in a vacuum and be like, oh, well, Fabiano says to sit Deebo. That means I can't play him at any rate. Of course, you've got to see what else you have. If I have Tet and Deebo, I'm playing Tet. But if I have Deebo and, I don't know, Cedric Tillman, then, obviously I'm playing Deebo. If I have, you just have to kind of figure it out. So
I want to give you a really hard one.
What's that? Go ahead.
I want to give you a really hard one. Deebo Samuel or Jordan Addison?
No, I want Deebo. I am anti-McCarthy and anything attached to him that's not named Justin Jefferson. I'm even worried about him.
Yeah. I mean, Jefferson had the touchdown last week, so he came through.
I know, but I mean, he's not putting up the numbers that we drafted him to put up.
I know, because they're just not passing the
quarterback,
ball.
Man. It's JJ McCarthy. It's the quarterback.
Jay needs one running back, Tyrone Tracy or Kyle Monagai, and then one wide receiver, Nico Collins or McMillan. I'm going Monagai and Nico.
Yeah, me too. And, I think people are asking about Nico just because Davis Mills and his extremely long neck are starting for the Texans. I mean, Davis Mills got to throw it to somebody, right? And the matchup is good. So I'm still going Nico.
And the majority of Nico's yards and catches last week came from Davis Mills. So I wouldn't be worried so much about Davis Mills. Maybe they'll actually help him out because instead of Stroud, spreading the ball around, maybe he'll just go to Nico Collins more often. We really could use that. I need Nico Collins to come through big this week. He's been a big disappointment actually compared to where you drafted him.
And you know what too? Like Nico is a guy that I don't have any shares of just because I know how good he can be. But he's often injured, and I just felt like with the quarterback situation in Houston not being kind of set in terms of is Stroud the guy from the rookie year or is he the guy from the sophomore year? And I think we got a little bit of both of that so far this year. So I don't have a lot of Nico, but I mean, if you got him, you got to play him. I know Davis Mills is the QB, but I don't think that is a huge issue.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, another question, another Monagai question. Monagai, Kamani Vidal, Kenneth Walker, or Khalil Shakir. Pick 2.5 PPR.
So I like Khalil Shakir today against Miami. It's only a 0.5 point PPR, though. That kind of hurts his value a little bit. If I had to pick 2 of the running backs, it would probably be Walker and Kamani Vidal. It would be Monagai if there was no Swift. That would be obvious. I don't love Vidal either, but I know he's getting the touches. And I don't love Walker's situation, but the Cardinals defense is not great against running backs. And Walker got more touches and played more snaps than Zach Charbonnet last week. So maybe the Seahawks are finally figuring a damn thing out and that Walker's better. So those are the 2 guys that I would play. Shakir, I don't love him as much in a 0.5 PPR.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Vidal. That would be my top guy. And then it's really close between Walker and Monagai, but I'm going Monagai. Again, I just think with Swift, why rush him back too quickly, right? He looked so good last week. You can split this backfield, and then it's all going to come down to who gets the touchdowns, which you would expect it to be Swift. So that's what's going to hurt Monagai's value. But I'll go Vidal and Monagai out of this group. Another Monagai question. We got DJ Moore, Kyle Monagai, or Tez Johnson, who you really like this week. That's their first question. We'll get to the second question in a minute.
I've got DJ Moore probably ranked higher the highest out of those three.
See, with DJ Moore, he needed so much last week. So like he needed a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown to have a good fantasy game for one.
I'm trying to text a buddy of mine about what the weather's like in Chicago right now. So I'll take a look.
Okay. I'm going to go with Kyle Monagai. I'm just going to stick with him because I'm not as high on Tez Johnson as you are. And then DJ Moore finally one good week. But again, he needed 2 touchdowns that weren't even, one of them was not even receiving to have a good fantasy game.
Yeah,
now,
and then the second question is definitely Rashad White for me.
Over Jameson Williams?
Yeah. I like, no Bucky. I'm going to go Rashad White.
Okay. I'm going to go Jameson Williams. So that's
I just like a lot of times. And JMO has had 2 of the last 3 games have been good, but that one other game that was bad, he had a 0. And I like him today. I would just rather, I want a guy who I know I'm going to get touches. And Rashad White, I know I'm going to get the touches.
Now we got Garrett Wilson or Kyle Monagai. This is a very easy Garrett Wilson for me. Garrett Wilson is one of my favorite plays of the week. The Browns are allowing the 4th most fantasy points per game to wide receivers when they're playing on the road this season.
Yeah. So yeah, that's thank God Garrett Wilson's back. At least we have some good news.
Yes. We needed that. Now do we have any other additions to inactives? We already stated that Brian Thomas is out, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, Kayshon Boutte, Torrey Horton, with guys like Puka and AJ Brown and Garrett Wilson, Teteroa McMillan all expected to play. Anyone else that I'm missing here at the wide receiver group?
No, I think you got everybody. I'm just clicking through real quick to make sure that we haven't missed anyone, but I think we just about have everyone set. Like you said, Tet's going to be a go. Thank God. He's got a really good matchup this week. Garrett Wilson's a go. That Horton, that's a later game. So he's not officially inactive just yet, but we all know he's not going to be going. So that's something that we're certain about. No Chris Godwin for the Buccaneers. So again, we like Tez this week as a streaming option for a lot of fantasy managers. And then just going through some of the other ones, Cedric Tillman, we know he's active this week. Harold Fannin in that same game is active. At running back, Alvin Kamara is active. And again, he's active, but only by status. Aaron Jones is a go. Josh Palmer's not going to play for Buffalo today. So keep that in mind. Again, maybe a few more targets going to the tight ends or maybe Khalil Shakir. We know that DeAndre Swift is a go, so we're good there. And that's going to basically cover most of the big names for the early window games.
Yeah, and Aaron Jones is expected to play as well, which kind of hurts Jordan Mason. So, and then we know Bucky Irving will be out. So you can play Rashad White if you need to, but tough defense against the Patriots. We have another question here. Teteroa McMillan or Kyle Monagai?
McMillan. I'm going Ted here. I'm going Ted.
I am too. All right. I think we'll do it for today's episode, unless there's any other last second start sit questions.
I have a few on X that we could go through.
Okay.
So we've got one from the Clee Man who needs to start one from Chuba Hubbard, Devin Neal, Isaiah Davis, and Chris Rodriguez. That is gross.
I'm going Isaiah Davis.
This is where people are, though, unfortunately. Isaiah Davis is who you're going for?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This one is from Pops Nason. That's a guess. Full point PPR needs 2. Harold Fannin, Colson Loveland, Tez Johnson.
Colson Loveland and Harold Fannin. I know you really like Tez Johnson. I don't know why I can't get on board.
I do like me some Tez. Here's one from Destro NJ. Adunze, Vidal, or Kittle in the flex. I know where I'm going.
Well, did you hear back about the weather in Chicago?
No, I have not.
That would be a pretty big. Oh, I kind of want to go Kittle, but maybe I'll just go with Vidal and take the volume.
Okay, I'm going to go with Dunze there. I got one from Troy, Christian Watson, Rashad Bateman, or Cedric Tillman, full point PPR.
Oof.
These are the tough ones.
Cedric Tillman.
You're going Tillman there. Okay. All right. I myself am probably going to end up going with Christian Watson. He's expected to go. They play tomorrow night. The Eagles have not been great against perimeter receivers. Browns or Bills defense from Jason on X. Who's streaming? Which one?
Bills.
Okay. I would agree with you there. Damian, pick 3. Marvin Harrison, Khalil Shakir, Jordan Addison, Romeo Dobbs, Rashid Shaheed. Here's the 3 I'm going with. I'm going with Junior, I'm going with Dobbs, and I'm going with Shakir. So Addison and Shaheed are out.
Okay. I do think it's very close between Shakir and Shaheed. I agree with you on the first one with Dobbs and Marvin Harrison. And then I do think it's safer to go with Shakir than with Shaheed in his very first game. But Shaheed does have a much higher ceiling. Like Shakir, it's like you're hoping to get 10 points there for him. We do have one more question on YouTube for a tight end question. David Njoku, Harold Fannin, or Dalton Schultz. I'm going with Dalton Schultz here in a full PPR league.
Yeah, I like Dalton Schultz too. The matchup's good. Although last time I promoted Dalton Schultz, he didn't do much. Let's hope that he can bounce back in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a great matchup. They need him. Hopefully Davis Mills leans on him. And like the thing is, he's not going to score a touchdown most likely because he hasn't all year. But you never know who's going to get the targets between Njoku and Fannin. So that's my tiebreaker.
Gotcha. Yep.
Any other questions you want to get to?
Yeah, we'll do a few more here. We got like three or 4 more minutes. Joe Barra. Wonder if he's related to Yogi. DK Metcalf or Jordan Addison. And he also has Justin Jefferson. You know where I'm going here.
It's Metcalf for me. I know he busted hard last week, but that came out wrong. I know he did not do well last week, but I do think he recovers.
From Oaktown 32, Monin guy or Travis Etienne?
Etienne.
Yep, I would agree there. This one's interesting. Pick 2 from Oscar. Quinshawn, Super Judkins, Saquon, or Derrick Henry?
Oh, and you can only pick 2?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Saquon and Judkins? Do I dare say that?
I mean, to me, I guess Judkins is on the outside looking in here. I don't know if maybe Oscar could flex one of them. But
when I look at my rankings, I have Judkins running back 9, Derrick Henry 10, and Barkley 11. So technically, according to my rankings, I'd be sitting Barkley. But I do think out of that group, knowing like what Barkley can do, I mean, Henry can do the same thing though. Yeah. Judkins is my highest ranked among those, but they are back to back to back.
Mm-hmm. We've got another one here. It is a half-point PPR. He's starting Rico and Josh Jacobs and needs a 3rd running back from Travis Etienne and Travion Henderson.
I kind of like Henderson more.
Okay. No, I would agree. How about this? People are actually like asking this question, and I guess it's not insane. Hurts or Darnold? This is from Joel.
See, I think a lot of people are questioning Hurts right now. I mean, he's been on fire. I'm not too worried about the matchup. I get it. It's in Green Bay, but I think he's going to need to put up points. I'm sticking with Hurts. I'm not going to get cute. I'm just staying with the guy who's been a great fantasy quarterback for years now.
From Manny, Rams or Steelers defense today?
Rams.
I'm going Rams too.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm definitely going Rams too. All right. Tez Johnson or Kamani Vidal?
Vidal.
Okay. Yep. That's from a day. I would agree. I would agree that it's Vidal. Next one. We'll do 2 or 3 more. Mark Andrews or Colston Loveland?
Loveland.
See, I disagree. I think it's Andrews. In fact, Andrews is the guy that if I need a tight end right now, I'm going to trade for him. He's got the easiest schedule among all tight ends in the league, and he plays the Bengals twice still. And the Bengals are garbage. So I like Andrews better in this one. PPR flex, Monin guy, Vidal, or Cedric Tillman?
Vidal.
Okay. I would agree with you there. One more. What running back is on the bench? And Max Revis, you've got a loaded running back situation. Quinshawn, Super Judkins, Derrick Henry, Jalen Warren, or Kyron Williams. He's got to start 3 of those 4, and it's hard not to love all of them. I want to see where you go here.
Definitely sitting Warren.
I know. I love the matchup, though. I agree. But you've got 4 of my top probably 12 or 13 running backs on that team, Max. So good luck.
Yeah, those other guys are just way too good to sit. You could sit Warren. But yeah, that will be it for today's episode. We hope you all win your fantasy football matchups and enjoy today's games. You can find Fabs and Marcus Mosier over on the Locked On Dynasty Fantasy podcast every day, Monday through Friday. I'm on the Locked On Fantasy Football podcast with Vinny Iyer. So don't miss those episodes. Go subscribe to us, and we will help you win your championships all year long. We'll be back with you next Sunday. Bye, y'all.